Now, it's a place where Google will never take you, where people, weapons, drugs and illicit images are traded, and you can hire a hitman or voice completely uncensored views. Deep in cyberspace, there is a network that's off the grid and out of reach for the long arm of the law enforcement. Known as the dark web or dark internet, it's a black market where only the most skilled hackers and crime bosses do business, uncensored and unpoliced. Well, for more on what the network is and the challenges in policing it, we're joined by Stilgherrian, technology and politics reporter with ZDNet Australia. Still, good to see you.
Good morning, Andrew.
Just outline this for us. I'm assuming that a lot of people would not know that this exists, and
that's right.
It's essentially what an encrypted private service, if you like.
That's right. In fact, services plural. There are quite a few, but one of the best known is called Silk Road, which is essentially a marketplace for anything illegal that you might want to get hold of, whether it be illegal drugs, illegal pornography such as child pornography or other illegal forms of pornography. You name it. There's even reports of, you can organise a hitman through there or whatever you like. And the way it works is relatively easy to describe. I mean, most websites sit on a web server. We know where it is. It's in a data centre somewhere. But this is on a computer somewhere on the internet. We don't know. And it's connected to through a system called Tor, T-O-R, which bounces your internet connection through a whole chain of random computers over the internet, so it's difficult to figure out
sort of
where it is.
The signal, if you like.
Yeah, it's past the parcel, if you like, and each person only knows the next link in the chain through a series of secret instructions, if you like, that only they understand. And it's bounced around, well, through multiple countries, which makes it perhaps not impossible to trace, but extremely difficult without bringing massive computer power to bear.
Let's just talk about how this eventuated. You speak of Tor, which I understand was actually developed in conjunction with the US and Norwegian military authorities.
That's right.
In terms of actually protecting government communications for people in hostile environments.
That's right. And look, privacy or anonymity or not being able to trace your physical location is a neutral thing. I mean, if you are a spy working in another country, you certainly don't want that country to know that's where you're reporting from. If you are under threat, say you're being stalked by someone and wish to communicate, or you're a dissident politician in a country with a totalitarian government, then we in the West want those people to have a little bit of obscurity about where they physically are. It's when it crosses over into criminality, that's when it becomes a bad thing for us. But all these tools are in fact quite neutral.
And you talk about exactly what is available there. You've mentioned some of them, even such as trading in human organs, contract killing, money laundering, down to exchanging illegal university papers or even match fixing.
Oh yes, fake identities are very, very popular. Silk Road has a turnover of millions of dollars a year. I mean, no one's really got a clear handle on it because a lot of the communications then start off in that as a marketplace and then go into even more private communications. I guess the way to look at it is the internet is just human communication and some humans are criminals. And so therefore the criminal communication is there on the internet as well, and just like in the physical world, the criminals try and hide.
And one of the most disturbing aspects appears to be the proliferation of child pornography services on this particular dark side of the net, and these people are participating without fear of identification. So
far. Now, there's 2 points there. One is that there is still some controversy about some of the numbers that were quoted from time to time about child pornography. There's a bit of inflation of the numbers that sometimes happens. So when you see a report of 20,000 images discovered, well, it might be the same 20,000 images that were discovered in the previous 15 or 20 cases. And those kind of distinctions don't necessarily get out into the reports. That I don't wish to say that it's not a problem. It's real. It's very real. But child pornography is sometimes used as an excuse to say we must protect the children and therefore we must impose more monitoring on the internet.
So can this be policed? I'm assuming you're about to say no, it's not at the moment, because they obviously you've just explained how difficult it is to track them.
It's an arms race, absolutely. And at the moment, for general criminal activity, it just isn't the resources to put into tracking people down through this. I mean, the kinds of things you could track through that is, I don't know, perhaps it was the world's worst terrorist cell and you were trying to track them down because they had a rogue atom bomb. Then someone like the NSA in the United States could deploy millions of dollars of resources for that purpose.
So would terrorists be using this?
Well, I think they'd be silly if they weren't. I mean, from their point of view, yeah, it would be a basic security precaution, I would think.
So surely security agencies are spending a lot of time and energy trying to crack this thing.
Oh, absolutely. And you've got to remember that, again, say the NSA in the United States is, what, 2 or 3 times the size of the CIA now? I mean, that's really the big spook agency that's trying to monitor what's going on. So, yes, I was about to say millions. It's in fact billions of dollars are being poured into trying to, I guess, keep the same level of monitoring of communication now as they were used to in the past.
And one can imagine that these services are only going to grow, and therefore
Yes.
those security services have a very difficult task in trying to keep on the tail.
Well, as I say, it is an arms race, and I mean, it's the history of these services. The whole history of computers came from code breaking in the Second World War, and to break the German Enigma encryption system, which is essentially what caused the Allies to win the war so comprehensively. Those agencies grew out of those wartime agencies, and the race has continued, just with different bad guys. They were the Nazis and the Japanese of World War II. These days it's the terrorists, the child pornographers, and the illicit drug dealers of Silk Road.
Stilgherrian, thanks very much.
My pleasure.